Welcome back to our channel. Once again, we are going deep today. Are you ready? In the 12th century, as Europe began to awaken from the so-called Dark Ages into a new era of intellectual vitality, Peter Abelard stood as one of the most brilliant and controversial figures of the medieval world. A philosopher, theologian, and logician, Abelard challenged the boundaries between reason and faith, insisting that the mind is not an enemy of belief, but its ally. For him, consciousness is a rational faculty grounded in God. The ability to question, to understand, and to seek truth is itself divine. His famous dictum, "By doubting we come to inquiry, and through inquiry we perceive the truth," captured the spirit of a thinker who dared to unite rigorous logic with profound devotion. In this script, we will explore Abelard's vision in 7 sections, showing how his thought transformed the relationship between reason, faith, and human awareness. The life of Peter Abelard. Peter Abelard was born in 1079 in Brittany, France, into a noble family. Gifted with sharp intellect and relentless curiosity, he quickly rose to prominence as a teacher of logic and dialectic in Paris. Crowds of students gathered to hear his lectures, drawn by his brilliance and daring critiques of established authorities. Yet Abelard's life was also marked by personal tragedy. His passionate love affair with Héloïse, the brilliant young woman he tutored, ended in scandal and violence when her family forced Abelard into castration. Despite this, Abelard and Héloïse maintained a lifelong correspondence that revealed both intellectual depth and spiritual yearning. Through these personal struggles, Abelard's thought matured into a vision that saw human reason and divine faith not as rivals, but as two aspects of the same consciousness. The conflict of reason and faith in Abelard's time. In Abelard's age, Christian theology was often cautious of philosophy. Faith was considered superior to human reason, which could err and mislead. Yet Abelard believed that God had given humanity reason precisely to aid faith, not undermine it. He observed that consciousness naturally seeks understanding, and therefore to forbid inquiry was to suppress the very faculty God implanted in us. His willingness to apply logical methods to theology often alarmed his contemporaries, yet Abelard was convinced that reason purified faith, making it more conscious and less blind. For him, faith without understanding was incomplete. Reason without faith was rootless. Consciousness, he argued, finds its highest purpose when both work together. By doubting we come to inquiry. One of Abelard's most famous statements encapsulates his approach. By doubting we come to inquiry, and through inquiry we perceive the truth. He did not mean that doubt was an end in itself, but that it was the beginning of deeper awareness. Consciousness awakens when it questions appearances and seeks underlying truth. In this sense, doubt is not the enemy of faith, but its servant, a path to deeper conviction. For Abelard, the rational faculty of the mind is not accidental but divinely rooted, designed by God to lead us beyond superficial belief into profound understanding. In elevating inquiry, Abelard anticipated modern notions of critical thinking, while remaining firmly anchored in the conviction that truth itself is God. Abelard's theology of intention. Beyond logic, Abelard made profound contributions to ethics and theology by emphasizing intention. He taught that the true measure of moral action lies not in external deeds alone, but in the consciousness and intent behind them. This was revolutionary, shifting attention from rigid legalism to the inner life of the soul. In his view, God sees the heart. Thus, awareness, honesty, and alignment with divine will matter more than external compliance. Consciousness becomes the arena of morality. Every choice reflects the orientation of the soul toward or away from God. This insight would echo through later theology, foreshadowing modern emphasis on conscience and authenticity. Reason and the mystery of God. Abelard never suggested that reason could fully comprehend the divine. He acknowledged the infinite mystery of God, yet insisted that reason can guide us toward clarity, preventing superstition and error. In works like Sic et Non, Yes and No, Abelard presented contradictory statements from church fathers and used dialectical reasoning to show that inquiry was necessary to discern truth. For him, consciousness was sharpened through this process. By wrestling with contradictions, the soul grew in understanding. Reason thus becomes not a replacement for revelation, but its interpreter, helping faith to become more aware, more reflective, and more in harmony with God's truth. The personal dimension. Abelard and Héloïse. Abelard's intellectual vision was inseparable from his personal life. His love for Héloïse, preserved in their letters, reveals a man deeply aware of the complexities of human consciousness, torn between desire, devotion, and duty. In these writings, Abelard reflects on suffering, forgiveness, and the transformative power of divine grace. Consciousness, he came to see, is not only rational, but deeply relational, shaped by love and vulnerability. The scandal of his personal life did not destroy his faith. Rather, it deepened his conviction that reason and faith must meet in the lived reality of human experience, where the soul wrestles with weakness, yet aspires to God. Abelard's legacy for consciousness. Though condemned in his lifetime and often criticized for boldness, Abelard left an enduring legacy. His insistence that faith and reason belong together laid foundations for the great scholastic tradition, influencing thinkers like Thomas Aquinas centuries later. For modern seekers, his vision of consciousness remains strikingly relevant. Awareness is rational, but its roots are divine. To inquire, to question, and to seek understanding are not betrayals of faith, but fulfillments of it. Abelard invites us to see consciousness itself as a gift from God, a rational light that shines within the soul, guiding it toward truth, justice, and love. Consciousness as rational and God-rooted. Peter Abelard's life and thought testify to the power of consciousness as both rational and divine. In defending inquiry, he affirmed that the human mind reflects the light of God. In emphasizing intention, he showed that morality flows from the depths of awareness. In uniting reason and faith, he offered a vision in which doubt becomes the doorway to truth. Abelard reminds us that consciousness is not blind instinct nor cold logic, but a rational faculty rooted in God, a bridge between human seeking and divine wisdom. His message remains timeless. To think deeply is to honor the Creator who implanted reason as the spark of truth within every soul. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got to this point, you get to know that in the description below, you will find recommendations of literature if you want to expand your knowledge. I encourage you to read and learn even more. Please let us know your thoughts about this. Share, like, and of course, subscribe.